should be yourself, King. Should be yourself. And really the greatest thing that you could be is to be yourself.
What's up, everybody? This is the Inspiration podcast, and today I have a great guest named Michael Ealy. And Michael Ealy is a great real estate investor with a very inspiring journey of pretty much coming up. It's a great success story, and I pretty much wanted to use this podcast to explore his journey and where he started from in real estate and where he is now. So, Mike, thank you so much, man, for taking time to join the platform. I know you had a rough upbringing before you're a real estate investor, and I think you've even. I'll let you speak about it, but can you talk about growing up broke and and how you overcame that, and what was your living situation before real estate?
No, I mean, so really growing up, man, I was okay, man. Like we grew up middle class, but like here's kind of significant. Like I did over 400 million in real estate, inclusive apartments and hotels, houses, land, and I'm doing $100 million development in Sarasota now, but it wasn't always like that balance sheet, right?
Yeah.
When I first started on my journey, I lost everything. I became homeless. I was driving around what they called me four flats, right? Because my car had flat tires every month. I had to shake the battery in my car. I got evicted out of my own home. I was foreclosed on. It was like one of my darkest moments, man. Like, felt like I was like MC Hammer when he was about bankruptcy, but you really couldn't touch this, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, we made it through, man. Like I figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always knew I wanted to do real estate.
Okay.
Like I just wanted to build wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And at the time when I was growing up in high school, the big thing was junk bonds. I don't know if you knew anything about that. Junk bonds was the thing, man. But at the time, the minimum investment was $50,000. I was like, well, that's not happening. I closed that book and I walked down the aisle and I found this book by Robert Allen, Nothing. And literally, I didn't like to read. I'm a math guy, but I didn't like to read. And literally in one setting, I read almost the entire book, and I was like, "This is what I'm going to do." Like that was it. I had no interest. Like, I wish I could say I found real estate, but real estate found me.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So at that moment,
location.
Yeah, I know locations, everything. We'll definitely talk about that later on the podcast. You had I went through your LinkedIn and there was a post that you made that stood out to me, and it was pretty much, I remember waking up every morning and driving straight to the gas station, not for gas, but to fill up my tires. All four of them were flat. Every single day, the neighborhood kids started calling me four flats. Yeah. No, I mean, and I'm not here to be like, oh, this guy is broke or like whatnot. It's always interesting to me how people overcome situations, whether it's health situations, financial, and so it's kind of more to applaud your excellence and upright. So you found a book by Robert Allen, and that was like, man, I love real estate. I feel like for most people, the book is Rich Dad Poor Dad, but yours. That's the classic. That classic. Rich Dad Poor Dad kind of was that for me. I was like, oh man, but yeah. So you read that.
When I first read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I was like, somebody understands me, because it wasn't like that many webinars. It wasn't like social media as prevalent as it is today. So. Like, if you didn't really find these people unless you found a book, or you just happened to go to a group, or you went to some big conference.
But
now everybody has a voice. They have a platform. All you got to do is go to TikTok or Facebook or YouTube, and you got a platform now.
Yes, sir. Exactly. Yeah. The access to information is incredible. I remember when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, it was the first book that made me really understand, like, okay, this is how you build wealth, like, and like the concept of it didn't seem far off. Like I always thought like rich people were just like untouchable, or like they had some secret human knowledge. I was like, well, whatever. I didn't know. Rich Dad Poor Dad actually made it be like, okay, man, like you can actually do it, man. Like what I'm saying. So and so yeah. So you read your book by Robert Allen. By the way, what's the name of the book? Just so people may know.
Nothing down.
Nothing down. Okay, nothing down. All right. So you read the book Nothing Down, and then you're like, all right, let me get into real estate. So what did you do then? Like
Well, I did like most people. I
Yeah.
read the book, right? I was 16 years old. I was so inspired. Like I literally ran out of the library. And right after that, I did absolutely nothing.
Well, you're being honest, bro. Yeah, man, you're being honest, man. No, it's the real thing, man. Because I mean, me included, man. I'll be the first to call myself out. I can watch hundreds of YouTube videos. I read a bunch of books, and I can get stuck in analysis by paralysis and do absolutely nothing. So I get that. So when after you read the book, you felt inspired, but did nothing with the inspiration. When did you start to actually be like? What was your first real estate move in?
Yeah, so I was 26 when I did my
Okay,
first
so 10
year.
years later.
Yeah, so I was literally like, but now it wasn't that I was doing anything. I really got into concerts and parties. So
Oh, okay.
I had Too Short, I had Outkast when they first dropped.
Wow. Oh,
So,
snap.
yeah, and I was going to do a show with the
That's so
Notorious
cool.
B.I.G. and he
What?
got murdered right the week of my show.
Wait. Well, let's rewind back. What are you doing in these parties and concerts? Like, are you an A&R? Like, what's your role? Like,
I was the promoter.
Oh, you're a promoter. Okay.
Yeah. So I went down to Tuskegee and I did this event called the Players Ball. Summerfest, Springfest. It was Springfest.
Oh, that's dope, man.
And I had like AT&T, Budweiser, Alltel Mobile, all these different sponsors.
Yeah.
Great time. People came from California all the way down to Florida, from New York,
What?
all in a little town called Tuskegee in Alabama. We like to call that LA or Alabama.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm a huge Tupac fan. I love Tupac, but Biggie's smart. Did you get to meet any of these legendary artists or rappers, or you just
Notorious died. I didn't get to meet Tupac, but Lil Kim,
okay,
Too Short,
Outkast,
Goody Mob. I did a few shows with them, man. So
yeah,
it was good times.
That's dope, man. So you're doing these shows, and as you were saying, like, how did these shows kind of like help you entrepreneurially or your journey?
Well, I mean, really, if you want to get in a aggressive, stressful business, be a promoter. Like, anything can happen.
Yeah,
you're dealing with so many different personalities, so many emotions. You organizing, you're dealing with prima donnas. Like, literally, they'll send you a rider, which is a contract of when I come into town, this is how I want to come into town. This is what I want in my room. And this is when I want to go on stage. This is what I want on stage. And so what that did, though, it taught me how to work with different people and different personalities. And I was doing all of this. I didn't even think about this, but a guy introduced me. I spoke the other day, and he was like, man, this guy was doing corporate marketing and corporate events, corporate sponsorship on another level. I was like, oh, yeah, I did do that. Yeah. I was like, I just want to sponsor so I ain't got to pay for this.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Yeah.
That's what it was, man. I was like, how can I do this for free and have a lot of fun?
Yeah. You weren't thinking like long term. You're just like, yo, I just want to be a part of this event. Yeah, man. It's interesting, man. Like, and so like looking back, like, you're trying to have a good time and just live life. But little did you know, like, this was low key building you up to what you're doing. It's always interesting to me, like how life sets people up to grow and propel. But so then tying that in, like, how did that tie into your real estate, the beginning of your real estate career?
Well, as I continue to work, I put it in my master plan. So like, no matter what you do, you got to have this vision. And I put this vision together. And really, I thought I was going to do concerts and be a rock star and be like these rock stars and have 3 baby mamas with and travel all over the world. Yeah. And Lord, that was young thinking, because good Lord, having 3 baby mamas, that was terrible. 3 baby. I'm struggling with one wife, bro.
That's one funny, bro.
3 kids. I was like, man, if I have with 3 different ones, oh Lord. Jesus.
3 baby mamas, bro. That's
so that dream went away, but the vision of doing events, that didn't. I call it entertainment. And I'm kind of in that field where I educate and entertain all at the same time, and it's learning how to do more. But no matter what you do in life, I was sharing this the other day. There's always a valley in the middle of your vision and your victory, right? Because this is life, man. You get a vision. God gives you a vision, and it's true because He showed it to you, and it's yours, right? And so you got to walk towards it. You got to move towards it. It attracts you. But what happens is, when people first start, they have this uninformed optimism. And they were like, oh yeah, we're going to kill it. We're going to make millions of dollars. We're going to buy tons of real estate. I'm going to be a multi-millionaire. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you get your first tenant and they're not paying the rent. Or you can't raise the capital or something goes. And all of a sudden, that's when that uninformed pessimism sets in. You're like, they told me it was going to be tough like this. Yeah. And so you start to push back from the table. Yeah. Like, maybe this isn't for me. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't be doing it. Maybe this ain't what God really told me to do. Yeah. And so you start stepping back. And that's when all of a sudden you do this cycle. You start over and over again because let me try this. Maybe this. That didn't work. No, the problem is you are going through a storm. I don't care. You got to learn. You're going to go into a valley, and for some it will storm in the valley. Yeah. But here's the thing: you got to run to the storm. You got to run through. Actually. Like eagles. See, when a storm comes, most birds fly away from the storm. Yeah. But yet the eagle flies into the storm and flies above the storm. And then, because flying into the storm, they end up flying higher than they ever flown before. Yeah. Yeah. And see, so that's what I'm saying. You got to fly into the storm. You got to speak to your storms, right? Because I don't care, in the valley, in everything you do, there's going to be chaos and uncertainty. Yes, sir. Yeah. And so you have to move through it. They always say, keep moving. The reason they say keep moving, because that's what they say. Moving towards your vision is faith. That's belief. But see, most people got to lie in the middle of their belief. Just spell that out, BLIE. There's a lie in the middle of their belief, and so they back up. But like I'm telling you, you will never win if you quit. Amen. Yeah. Yes, sir. And so, but once you go through that storm, right? Once you go through the valley, you get your education. But for some, it goes deeper. They might even become broken. But like a seed, in order for it to grow into this tree, into this that produces fruit, that seed must break. Yeah. And so, but then you come out, you start growing, you start going up the side of the mountain again, and now you have some informed pessimism. So you know what's coming, right?
That's the stage I'm at, by the way. I'm informed pessimistic. As a real estate investor, that's where I'm at. To be honest.
Yeah. You know this is going to happen, but you got to keep moving.
Yeah.
And I promise you, it will change.
Yeah.
But quit trying to think. See, at this point, this is where you got to move the ego. And some of you are like, I ain't got no ego. Yes, you do. Because if you did, you would have asked for help. Why wouldn't you ask somebody that could introduce you to your future self? Mm-hmm. That's the whole point of getting a coach. Like Tiger Woods got a coach. Man, all professionals. Tua, quarterback got a coach. Everybody, Derek, what was his name? They all got trainers. Michael Jordan had trainers.
For sure.
Get you a trainer that can introduce you and put you to the next level instead of wasting 15 years trying to find yourself. And then you end up being back at the peak of the mountain watching the sunrise and the sunset.
Man, honestly, man, you're speaking to my soul in regards to real estate investing. Because I went from, I bought my first house at like the age of like 23. And I'm like, yeah, man, this is cool. Like, whatnot? Like, I'm super excited. Then, I start to slowly deal with the issues, bro. And you go into real estate. Oh, it's so passive income. It is like, I think it's not passive, man. And then you start to get hit with the reality of, like you said, late payments, people bullshitting you around with not paying on time, like vacant units, bro. You know what I'm saying? Or if a repair comes out of nowhere, that might have taken you 3 or 4, maybe 6, even a year, a month of all your cash flow, and you're like, bro, this isn't really that passive, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, man, like this is, and now that's where I'm at. I'm gonna be honest, bro. I think you said there's 4 parts of the cycle. I'm at the informed pessimism, where whenever I see any real estate gurus online talking about, oh, just flip this and do that and blah blah blah, and you turn, like, I'm like, all right, bro. They never actually talk about the real struggles that really go with it. Not to say that real estate is BS and it's not going to get you where you want, but it's really a long-term game. you know?
Yeah. No, man. I mean, real estate, man, I love it. It's all I know. I know at the back of my head. I mean, I always thought about it, but I don't care. Like, here's the thing, man. I don't care if it's real estate. I don't care if you're starting entertainment. You're doing an online consumer, right? You start a restaurant. I don't. You're going to have chaos. You're going to have uncertainty, and that's where you have to develop into your identity. See, the problem is, and not saying you, but some of it is you're identifying with your old self. You're identifying with problems. You're identifying as no solutions. Yeah. But see, you're supernatural. You were made in His image.
Yes, amen. Yeah.
So you can speak to the storms. You can speak whatever it is into existence.
Yeah.
Like the real reason I got out of being broke, I came from being homeless. It was prayer, meditation.
Amen.
And identifying with my future self. I envisioned myself every day, 3 times a day, driving in a truck, owning real estate, owning big developments, owning multiple. I would imagine how it would be. The one mistake, and here's the game changer, the one mistake I missed in that period of time, I wasn't emotional enough about it. And this is what I mean. It's one thing to envision and meditate and see yourself, but how do you feel?
Interesting.
How does that feel when you're there? What did it smell like right there? Because what happens is when you think like that, you're attracting that towards you. You gotta realize your whole mind, your voice is nothing but vibrations, it's nothing but frequencies, it's nothing but energy waves, and you're an electromagnet. And by speaking it, you bring it towards you. Yeah. And see, they say wherever there are 2 or more in the midst of them, or people, you share your plans. If you speak it and people hear your plans, next thing you know, oh, I know such and such, and they do that. They call it networking. They say network is your net worth. Yeah. A magnet, right? By speaking. And see, when you remove the ego, see, I was guilty of this. And listen, regardless of money, whatever people may think, I got a nice car, nice house. I'm still the same old Mike. Yeah. I'm a little aggressive when things come, because I go after it. I know it. I see it, right? But I don't think I had an ego. And then when I was in a problem, I didn't ask for help. Now, it was funny. I was concerned. I was afraid to be embarrassed. I didn't realize that. I didn't want people to think that I didn't know what I was doing, but I know what I was doing. I don't care. You can get certain levels. I don't care. To get to 50,000 years a certain level, to get to 150,000 is a certain level, to get to 500 to a million to 5 million to 10 million, it's different levels. And so everybody, you get to a certain level and you be like, oh, everybody's going to look at, who cares? Do you realize nobody really cares?
Yeah.
Actually, people, you'll be surprised. They'll be happy to help you because it helps them forget about their problems.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So you gotta, forget the ego, meditate and envision. Okay. I don't care. I don't care if you're an atheist. It's universal principles.
Yeah.
Okay, I studied Buddhism, Muslim, atheist, Christianity. It don't matter. It's all about a belief.
And that's a common phrase in the Bible. I believe it's in Proverbs. And that's what I'm hearing you. You talk about meditation. You talk about thinking, envisioning it, and for you, that was so important. But then you also mentioned something that was interesting. You said, "Oh, I wasn't emotional enough," which is interesting because I know real estate is all business, and usually people always say don't mix emotions with business. But I guess for you, being emotional, what did that do for you? Did it deepen your conviction? Did it? Because I think I get what you're saying, but it was kind of a bit counterintuitive to hear you say that. Because most of the time people like don't get emotional about business. It ain't that don't take it personal.
No, I mean, so it's kind of two pieces there. Like, no, you don't want to be emotional. You don't want to be emotional in business, right? Because like you get emotionally attached to something, and it's hot. It will burn you. Yeah. You got to let it go. What I'm talking about is becoming in love or passionate about what it is that you really want. When you start doing that becomes your why. And that why is what's going to pull you out of the valley. That why is going to put you back on the mountaintop. And so that's why I'm saying you got to be passionate about your dream. Because what happens when that valley comes, because it's coming, when that storm comes, because it's coming, an umbrella may not save you. Yeah. Right? You may not have shoes or hiking boots. You may be in the valley with flip-flops. Are you willing to walk up and have your feet cut and bleed? Are you really ready to go through the pain? And the only way you're gonna get through it is because of your why. If it don't mean enough to you, if you're not in love with it, you're like, the hell with it, man. I'm out. Yeah, interesting, man. Yeah, I think there's a quote like, if my why is great enough, I can bear anyhow. There's as I hear you speak, man, it's interesting because as I get older, I start to realize like life is happens in cycles and in seasons. Like, there may be a cycle where you're sick or you got injured and you just got to focus on your health. Or there may be a cycle where you're with your girlfriend or your wife and you just got to focus on the relationship. And I know in real estate, we even have our own cycles. There's cycles of recessions. There's cycles of, the interest rate is really low and now it's the time to buy. And then there's cycles now where the interest rate is really high and, maybe people aren't as excited to buy, and maybe real estate isn't as attractive. And then you start to go in what you're quote unquote saying the valley state. How do people get through that value state? Because that state of where people aren't thriving, or maybe the value of real estate is going on, or maybe whatever is just not going as smoothly. I feel like that's where people quit. Can you talk about a time where, because I know you had your fair share of value states. You want to share a personal story and like how you got through that? Yeah, we can talk about it now, but I mean, it really goes back to the same thing. First of all, man, life of an entrepreneur, Dr. Scott Peck said it best. Yeah. That life is difficult, right? That's the very first sentence of the book. And it's called The Road Less Traveled. Okay. And it talks about you have to have certain tools in life to maintenance your life, from love to faith, beliefs, all these different things. And so, in order to get out of that valley, I mean, you gotta have faith, but you in order to move through chaos, in order to move through uncertainty, you're gonna have it in life, but you're gonna have it even more in business.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't be emotional about it. You got to think logically sometimes and outside the box. And so, but that's when you have to know how to solve problems.
Mm-hmm.
An entrepreneur is a person with ideas that solve problems.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Understand, like, if you want, see, most people leaving jobs because they want their own freedom. They want more than finance freedom. They trying to run away from that 9-to-5 prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to have your own freedom, you're going to work harder than when you was at a 9-to-5.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, but the quicker you learn how to solve problems, the quicker you learn how to communicate. That's what's going to get you through. Like, I mean, to go from broke to millions. I pray, meditate, and talk to people, read. I never read so much. Like I told you earlier, I hated reading.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I read like 60, 70 books in 1 year. Read like crazy. I took speed reading courses. I wanted to read. Right. And this was before, I mean, audiobooks was there, but it wasn't as prevalent now, right? You wasn't just on your phone. I had the flip phone back then. So you didn't have all that, the computer in your hand.
Yeah.
And so I read tons of books.
Interesting.
And then recently, man, I went through another valley, another cycle.
Yeah.
And everything happened, man. I mean, I almost lost my wife.
Okay.
She was on ventilator. My mother was dealing with Parkinson's.
Yeah.
My sister had a brain tumor.
Wow.
I was working on a deal. I ain't made money in 5 years. My kids got sick.
Man.
Money shriveled up.
Yeah.
And the reason I got out of that was I had friends, family, and partners. And because I tithe so much, like giving away to church and people.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I got through it. Because I was like, wait a minute, my money jacked up, bro.
Yeah.
I was literally, Elon Musk said, staring into abyss while chewing on glass.
Wow.
And I let them take over, and I knew it was bad because we so confident.
Yeah.
But me and my partners were looking at each other like, "Oh shit! No!"
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, I'm turning over to God, and hell, I even went to therapy. And then I got back deep in prayer meditation.
Man.
And I just kept moving and working.
Amen. Yeah. Man. So in the Bible, something that sticks out to me is it says God loves a cheerful giver. And you mentioned how tithing and giving essentially helped you get through everything. And it's just really interesting to me, man, because I didn't expect this podcast for you to give so much glory to God, but I'm really glad that you're doing that because honestly, this is what this podcast is about. We're here to share testimonials, specifically tend to be entrepreneurial ones, because I feel like those are some of the hardest journeys to go through. You're dealing with a bunch of uncertainty. You're dealing with a bunch of people. You may be coming across people who lie to you, who are dishonest, like who scam you. And I've done a lot of businesses. I've done medical writing. I've done pharmacy work. I've done real estate investing. Out of all the businesses I've done, real estate investing has like the grimiest people, in my opinion. Like, and I'm sure you know better than me. You do it. I don't want to.
I mean, now, but everybody has their own experience.
For sure.
The grimiest was promoting, bro. That's why I said, man.
Yeah,
that was grimy, bro. bro. That's grimy. Like
Yeah.
that, like, dude, that the entertainment business, like I really wanted to get in the record industry. That's grimy. So I'm telling you, real estate.
It ain't that. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but like life is experiences. I've had
Yeah.
a lot of experiences, bro.
Yeah, yeah, and I just want thank you for sharing about that value of especially the health scare of almost losing your wife, and then a lot of your children, and this was all happening at once. Like, was this recent? Like,
A
cause
month to month to month. Yeah, I went through this for like a year.
jeez, yeah, bro, jeez, man,
Yeah, dude.
that's
I'm like,
crazy.
look, I'm the most confident guy you can ever meet, bro.
Mhm.
Like, I live in a land of no doubt.
Yeah,
Like, what? No, we doing this.
yeah.
Yeah, bro. I was in that corner, huddled up, like, hey.
No, man. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing, man. I think that's also a weird aspect of leadership. So, like, I value leaders, and I love having leaders on my podcast because I enjoy talking to them. And something about leadership that I've understood is that, like, you have to be strong in public, but sometimes being strong, just as strong in private, that's hard. Like, you gotta you gotta be put up front.
I mean, but it's so, and that's the problem. But when you take a leader role, it's a lot of things, man. Like, you gotta
Sure.
be strong, and some don't believe in that, showing that sensitive side of it. Like, because you gotta be fast. The key about being a leader is making a decision
Sure.
and fast. And one of the things, the downside is, because if you do not make a decision, the decision will make it for you, and it will be good or bad. And I'm just telling you, I made a lot of this. I did a lot of things that I didn't make decisions, and so all of a sudden, all my decisions show up on my doorstep all at once.
Yeah.
And I was in what they call life's a sewer full of manure, and I was just tasting the bowels of life.
Yeah.
And all you could do is scream for, and it was like nobody could hear.
So you're a big fan of Biggie. I'm sure you're a fan of Biggie Smalls. You mentioned him early in the podcast. As an entrepreneur, something that I think about from Biggie Smalls quote all the time is more money, more problems. I'm sure you've been experiencing that. And as a real estate investor, I have too. My portfolio is definitely not as big as yours, but I do feel like the more money you have, the more people you're dealing with, therefore the more problems. Yes or no?
But I'm like,
but you embrace the problems.
Yeah, you gotta embrace the problem. I was the problem solver.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some say it's in the genes, but like, that was my thing.
Yeah.
I was a little chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
I was off the chain a little bit. Like, I was like, no, let's do this. Forget a routine. Let's go do this. Yeah. And I experienced life. And I'm not saying, first of all, have fun, man. But, when you really want to get to the next level, you got to have a routine. Yeah. I was so against routine. I was so against rules. Like, a rule, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about routine. I love routines. What does your routine look like, and what was the before thing, and like what are you doing now to keep yourself consistent and moving forward, boss?
Yeah. So I fell off, and that's when things fell apart. But for the longest, man, when I was broke and I was getting back, man, my day started at 4:30 in the morning. It started with prayer, meditation.
Okay.
And it started with a 2-mile run, and I worked out, and I came back home and ate and sat with my nieces and nephews, and then I went to work and just grinded, and then meditated at lunch and did it again. And that got me out to Broke to Millions. Like, I just kept doing it over, envisioning and meeting people.
Yeah.
And now my day starts probably 5:30.
Okay.
Meditation. I have to say I've been breaking off my consistent. I'm getting back into my workout.
Okay.
Just do a small commitment to that, but definitely meditating in the morning.
That's so interesting.
By 7:30, I'm on calls. I start my
Interesting.
calls. Normally Monday is my heavy day, but Monday I meet with everybody involved, my team,
Okay.
from like 7:30 to 10:30, and then I'm working on my deal now. I'm really working on these developments. I got some affordable housing deals
Okay.
and a development in Sarasota. So really, my attention is there right now.
Interesting. Yeah. So I start off my day every day with a prayer, thanking God for everything He's done for me and everything He has done for me. I've noticed you keep mentioning meditation. I pray in the morning. I meditate in the morning. I meditate at lunch. What exactly are you meditating about? And like, why is that so important? Because that's interesting to me. You keep talking about you do it like all the time.
Yeah. So when I get into my meditation, first I'm deep breathing and I'm relaxing to get into a state. And I'm thinking about what I didn't like about my day. I breathe that out. Then I inhale what I want, what I'm looking for, whether it's wealth. And then gratitude. I think about love, loving myself, having joy. Because when you're in that state, that's when your energy and frequency is moving at a higher hertz, at a higher frequency, and you begin to do supernatural things. Whereas if you're in a state of anger and frustration and chaos, first of all, your brain waves are contorted and you drop in lower signals. And then literally, quite frankly, it could make you sick over a period of time. Just for example, like, how you go somewhere and all of a sudden you got to speak, you get the butterflies. I mean, it's kind of a positive way. But if you're worrying about something, right, that negatively can impact you. See, first of all, it's like you're on the road and you're on the highway and all of a sudden you get this road rage and all of a sudden your emotions kick up, right? It just kicks into gear and and then all of a sudden as you go home, it comes back down, right? But when you did that, you stretched your emotion, you stretched your energy, you stretched your body out, right? And so if you continue to live in a state like that, you're constantly stretching your body, your energy, and then eventually it'll break. And so then you move from discomfort to dis-ease to a disease. And that's where a lot of people talk about food and this, but some diseases, some cancers are self-created.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they did it on purpose. But my point is they had such a painful point that it hooked in. It can create diabetes, create cancer, high blood pressure. And so, then you start putting yourself on these meds and it goes to another level. Again, I'm not telling you not to take meds. But what I am telling you is to pray and meditate and to love yourself. If you get into a state like that, you can attract the things that you desire most.
Man, dude, it's so interesting that you said that. I've actually had a lot of doctors and other entrepreneurs say the same thing, where they make the connection between the body and the mind and the spirit, talking about how, like, if you don't, like, stress is pretty much like the biggest cause of all these diseases and not staying calm. And then to hear you also mention the power of how, like, your meditation keeps you intact. It's just so interesting because it seems to be a common theme amongst all these great entrepreneurs, great leaders I'm talking about. They always mention it without even me noticing it or me like really asking about it. So I'm just curious, as a black man, I'm guessing you came out in an inner city because of the way you're talking, Where did you pick this up? Because this isn't like they don't talk about this in black community. Let's be real. Like, if you talk about meditation, like, get that right shit out, or like it ain't really cool or whatever. Like, where did you learn about this? Or did you read books? Like, I'm just curious. Like,
all of the above, but I have to say, in my family, you were either a teacher or a preacher. So my father was the 32nd minister of our family. Like, if you go to my my great grandfather. Well, let's start with my grandfather. All of them were ministers, right? All of them. And then on the women's side of that, they were all teachers, or they taught at the church. Back then, that's all you could do. You were either a minister or a teacher, or entrepreneur, which or you had to deal with a lot of racism, or you kind of became a nurse. But the nurse thing didn't come until probably late 60s.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, so as they say, for me and my house, we serve the Lord. That's what Mama said, and she would hit me with that belt every time she read that too. You're gonna serve the Lord. You're gonna quit being disobedient, boy. You're gonna serve. But no, man, I read a lot. I really wanted to go there. Like, I was curious. Like, I I believe Jesus healed people. I believe that.
Yeah.
I was like, is that really true? And then I was like, well, I was learning the science of it. Then I studied the energy of it. Then I was looking at supernatural. And then I looked, and then as I read through that journey, I learned everything was the same thing.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think you mentioned the book Becoming Supernatural and whatnot, and then the Bible. And it's interesting how a lot of these spiritual topics become very interconnected, whether you're reading the Bhagavad Gita or the Quran, the Bible, or even New Age spiritual books. Like, they all have the same thing. And I know with meditation, it's interesting to connect it with the Bible, because I've been reading the Bible a lot. I know even when Jesus did a lot of his work, which was like healing people and ministering to the world, at night he would go in solitude and meditate. It's just so interesting. It's just like, even him, like, everyone's just doing it. It's like, and like, it's not really like a popular topic amongst culture, but it seems like a lot of just great leaders do that.
Man, listen, you got to.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have some kind of peace, because you can call it mindset.
Yeah.
And some people are built like that. Like, I got people that live in chaos. Oh my gosh, chaos. Oh, the more chaos, the more I thrive. Yeah. And that's what I tell myself now. I thrive in chaos. I thrive in uncertainty. And you gotta change. Like, you gotta trick your mind. You gotta trick your spirit. And forget it. You identify with that, and then so when problems come, you're just. When the storm comes, all of a sudden you're in the eye of the tornado. You're straight at peace.
And I think your meditating practice probably keeps you in a state of calmness. So it equips you and prepares you for those battles, so you don't feel overwhelmed. It sounds like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, even when you go to war, like, bro, they meditating.
Really?
They're preparing. They're walking through the battle before it even happens. They're looking at their future self. They're planning properly. They plan down to the details of what could happen, what will happen. Even Mike Tyson was like, man, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face. Well, how do you respond after you get punched in the face? And it's through that meditation. It's through visualizing the whole process and what happens if this happens, right? So, I mean, the more detailed you can get. So I get crazy with it. I get obsessed with it. Okay, detail. Okay, if I want to find, what would I say? If that person came, see what happens, you're not prepared. See, most people don't plan to fail, but fail to plan. So when you plan in detail, and see, when you feel, the emotions, this is the interest rate I want. This is this, and I want it to last this time, and I want this kind of investor, and then you start to become that type of investor. You want to get married. You want a spouse. You want whether the woman or man. If you want that kind of woman, you got to be that kind of man. If you want that kind of man, you got to train yourself to become that woman. Because you only attract what you are. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So you must become that thing. You must transform your identity. And so here's the thing. You are a creator. You can create whatever you want. But it's so funny. You were made to be create, but everybody's so scared to create.
Great. Yeah. Prepare. So my dad always used to tell me preparing to fail is failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And he would always tell me that, like, whether I'm doing homework or like just any type of project, he would be like, if I didn't fail, he would say, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And then it's interesting, man, and then you mentioned it's interesting because you're a God-fearing man, which I'm grateful for. And we were all created in God's image. God is the ultimate creator. And so therefore, if we were all created in his image, that means we are creators too. You know what I'm saying? And I think when we are creating, for me, that's that podcast. For you, is real estate investing. I think that's when we feel most alive, and we feel like most of ourselves. But unfortunately, it takes a lot of courage, and I think a lot of people feel ashamed to put themselves out there and be themselves.
That's right.
Yeah, man. So, in regards to your real estate investing, I know one thing that I thought that was incredibly interesting is you started acquiring hotels, boss. What was that about? Because I've met quite a few real estate investors, but I don't know anyone who's doing the whole hotel thing. What's that about? And how did you?
I was playing real life Monopoly, man. 4 houses, then a hotel. Now I met some people. I kind of fell into it, man. I had the opportunity to do a development.
Okay.
Didn't go through, but I found a partner, and I was like, man, we should build some commercial space, some office, and maybe some apartment. He was like, no, we're doing a hotel. And I was like, okay. And I helped put the deal together, and we got it. It didn't work out. I learned a lot, but I still found out. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know these hotels make so much money. I didn't know that you can get so many tax breaks with these hotels. I didn't know you could build your wealth that fast with these hotels. I didn't know the cash flow was that great. And so, like, literally, I met people that were making $5 million a year, and they paid no federal taxes.
What the? Man.
Yeah, I was like, what? Like, I'm doing all this work. And so since because of hotels, I got so much depreciation and so many write-offs that I didn't have to worry about using my self-directed IRA. I have to play these. And then now we got bonus depreciation. I was able to leverage those. So I didn't even need that. And we talking, this year we brought a couple of million in. And I ain't paid. Now you'll pay some state taxes.
Yeah.
You ain't getting out of that. At least in Ohio. I think Ohio is 1 or 2%.
Yeah.
But if I did a deal in Florida, I wouldn't have to pay no taxes.
Sheesh. Yeah, got to invest in Florida. I mean, literally, you see, I mean, I didn't know this, and it kind of goes back to your point about reading and gaining information. Like, the more these type of conversations are having, the more again, because I had no clue about. I didn't know it was that great tax wise, man. So I'm curious, Mike. What's the acquisition process and the operation process of hotels? Like, what does it look like getting one? Like, what spaces do you like operate into even like start to even think of acquiring one? Gotcha. And then what does the operation process look like?
First of all, it's all about a team, because together everyone accumulates money. And I definitely could say it wasn't just me, right? There's no way I would have succeeded. And again, that ego thing, like, I had a property management company, an operator that came in to help find the deal. Let me go back a little bit. Let me step back.
Okay.
Here's kind of the key things you need when you do a hotel, right? One, you need somebody with experience, right? I found that through a hotel operator. 2, then you need somebody with the net worth, right? Because you do hotels. I don't care if you're doing small. They gonna run $7 to $10 million minimum, maybe 13. Right. So you're gonna need 2 to 3 million, and you need somebody to sign the debt. Okay.
Yeah.
Then, and so I'm saying all this, and you need a lender. But even the lender want to see you got experience. See, when you get into multifamily, most banks are like, you can do that. If you haven't done 100 unit, they'll be like, just get a property manager, right?
Yeah.
But they'll let you get a 4 unit or 10 unit or 20 unit. A hotel, oh no, they'll be like, oh man, what experience do you have? Like, it was one of the toughest businesses I tried to get into. And so, everybody needs to have experience in the hotel, or you need to put a team that had to be around it. And that's how I got in. Because even the brokers, some of these brokers won't even send you hotel deals unless they know you got some experience or you got a way of buying it. Like there's people, perfect example, this is Billionaire, right here local, owns MedPace. They were not going to let him build a hotel. He's a billionaire. They weren't going to give him the money. They gave him the money to build his office space, but they weren't going to give him money to build a hotel.
Yeah.
And so he ended up doing bond finance, and he had to buy the bonds until the market shifted, and then he sold the bonds.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's when the operator comes in, because the operator has the experience to back up whatever.
Yeah. And so once you get through that hurdle, the key is having your GM and your sales guy, because your sales guy is going to put heads in beds. Your GM is going to run that system like a drill sergeant, making sure they up at 5 a.m. They make their beds, they eat, they chow down, blah, blah, like, right? They're going to make sure that hotel's running like a machine, because the hotel is 24/7.
So I'm guessing you're not doing the operational parts. You're mostly like the primary investor, and you're just overseeing everything, right?
You put the team together, man. I'm the GM, bro.
You put the team.
I'm
together.
the GM, right?
That makes sense.
Hey, I'm not on the court now. I'm in the back office, right?
Yeah.
But I'm putting the team together. I'm drafting people. My GM, well, I'm the owner. Let's get back. And then GM, and they managing them. They doing all the sweating on the court, right? Yeah. Then I go to the friends and family, and they in the audience, but they chipped in. And then now they may not do all the sweating, but when they win, when we cash that check, they get to share in all the glory, and they put the ring on.
Damn, that's a fire analogy. You're the GM. You're the person who's creating the team. You're the person who's seeking the talent and recruiting and making sure it all works. And you may not be playing or actually putting the sweat equity in it, but at the end of the day, if everything goes wrong, like you're taking full accountability. But if everything's going great, you're also, you're eating too. So yeah, that's a fire one, man. Tough, man. Well, anyways, Michael, man, this has been honestly, phenomenal interview. I'm so glad I've had you on, man. For anybody who may be interested in reaching out to you or connecting or learning more about you, or if there's anything you would like to promote or talk about, feel free to do so, man.
Yeah, no, man, you can find me on Instagram. I think I'm Nassau Mike Ealy.
Yeah.
On Instagram, man. I got some free training. I'm gonna be putting a lot of training. I'll be in my bio, my link.
Yeah.
I was coaching for a while, but I'm putting that away because I'm focused on my developments right now.
Yeah.
I may get back to it, but right now I'm putting it to bed.
Awesome. And I'm curious, Mike, before you leave, because I know you had a lot of valleys and peaks. I'm curious, what would you say is like the worst part about being Mike Ealy, and what's the best part about being Michael Ealy?
Oh man! Wow.
If you had to sum it up, I know that's a loaded question, but I'm just
the best part, man. I love my life, man. Hey, matter of fact, let me tell you how. Let me just tell you this. It's kind of like Chris Rock did it. That was so funny. But my buddy asked me, because I was like, when I was broken, it was bad.
Yeah.
Right? When all this was going on, my buddy walks up to me and he said, Mike, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
It's really not that bad. Like, you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
You really do. But let me ask you this one question. Would you trade spaces with any of your friends right now? I was like, with everything that's going on, would you trade spots with them? I was like, yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
No. Then it's not that bad, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I had a bad day. I got in my Bentley and drove off. Oh, it's a bad day. I walked in my 7,000 square foot house. Like, it's not that bad. I had a bad day. That's the material. Forget that. I got to hang out with my kids and took them to the court case and drop knowledge and build character, right? And help them go to the next level and start investing, right? I help them learn how I'm teaching them how to I was telling my son the other day, he's like, Dad, you're going to leave me some cash in the will. I was like, man, I ain't raising no trust fund, baby. Like, man, I'm going to teach you how to do this game. I'm going to teach you character. I'm going to teach you how to analyze. I'm going to teach you how to do this so you can multiply the equity and have all the cash you want. So that's the great thing about Mike Ealy. But the one thing is, once you get to a certain level, it don't turn off. It don't stop. And so you know, people out there, I want to be like Mike. I want to be like this guy. I want to make millions. I want to do this. Do you really?
Yeah.
Do you really? Yeah.
Well, you see, I feel like everyone is jealous of what you got. No one is jealous of how you got it, though. That's the thing. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm sure everyone's like, man, this dude got 1,000 units and all these hotels and whatnot. But when they talk about the valleys you had to go through, he's like, hey, well, you got to go through this too, and that.
I don't regret any of them. Now, I don't want to go back. I don't definitely want to go back.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. That the hard thing about hard things are hard things.
Yeah, man. Well, anyways, man, I like to end it here, man. Great ending. Anyways, thank you so much for your time, Mike. Thank you for your experience. And remember, everybody, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. And if God is for us, who can be against us?